Pokémon is a billion-dollar scam. The Pokémon Company is suing innovators. Just let that sink in for a moment. The company that was supposedly built on the spirit of adventure and discover is now spending its time in courtrooms, ceasing lawyers on games like Palworld for daring to do something new with a monster-catching formula. And why? Because instead of competing by, you know what, making better games, they decided to litigate. It's a lawsuit. This is all happening while they released buggy, underdeveloped, frankly, graphically embarrassing games for a premium price. How did one of the world's most beloved franchises get more interested in lawsuits than leadership? How did they manage to fool millions of us into accepting total mediocrity? This isn't a story about some plucky underdog. This is about the highest grossing media franchise of all time. Pokemon is a financial juggernaut with an estimated total retail sale figure of over 103.6 billion. And yet the actual games at the heart of this empire are reportedly made on shoestring budgets that would be a rounding error for any other AAA release. This is the story of how Pokemon became a billion-dollar scam, a finely tuned machine that weaponizes our nostalgia to sell us low-effort products at the highest possible prices, laughing all the way to the bank. This scam is hidden in plain sight, buried under a pile of money so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Forget Star Wars, forget the MCU, forget Mickey Mouse. Pokemon has out-earned all of them, and it's not even close. You can add up the lifetime earnings of Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, and you still wouldn't touch what Pokemon has ranked in. In the 2024 fiscal year alone, the franchise pulled in over 12 billion in retail sales. And get this, the fiscal year that ended in February 2025 was a record-breaking year for the profit, even with a new mainline game release. The main driver, a mobile app. Pokemon TCG Pocket, which this game in particular I do love. I just wanted to put in perspective how much money it made, not on what I hated about it. I feel like TCG Pocket was very good when it came out. My only issue is it kind of had the same issues with Pokemon Go. It had a great idea, it was good execution at the beginning, but it was very slow with the updates and new stuff coming in. Like Pokemon Go blew up the world, but it didn't update fast enough. They didn't realize how many players would have played it, even though they're the biggest IP in the world. Probably to do with them limiting spending at the very beginning, but yeah, anyway. Which, according to some estimates, generated nearly 1.3 billion in its first year. This isn't a company's struggle to make ends meet. This is a dragging, sleeping on a hoard of gold. The game we grew up loving are just a loose change it can be bothered to count. To really understand the depth of this, you just have to follow the money. Pokemon's total revenue is a dizzying number, with total retail sales estimated over 103.6 billion. This financial empire stands on several pillars, but the foundation isn't what you think. While the video game has sold over 500 million units and made billions, they're completely dwarfed by the real king of Pokemon's revenue, merchandise. Licensed merchandise accounts for the lion's share of the profits, with its lifetime earnings estimated at over $100 billion. That's everything from plushies and lunchboxes to $1,000 team-ups with luxury brands. The trading card game is another monster in its own right, a multi-billion-dollar business that still has scalpers causing chaos at retail stores. The video games are no longer the main product, they are the world's most effective advertisement. They exist to hook new generations of kids and re-engage nostalgic adults with a fresh batch of creatures to be sold back to them in 1,000 different ways. This isn't an accident, it's an entire strategy. Why pour hundreds of millions into making a truly groundbreaking video game when you can spend a tiny fraction of that and get the same results? Selling more merch. The games don't have to be masterpieces, they just have to be good enough to keep the machine printing money. They are a lost leader, the hook to get you in the door so they can sell you the t-shirt, the Lego set, and an endless stream of mobile microtransactions. They've perfected a cynical business model where the main creature product, the games, get the least promotional investment while everything else generates the most wealth. And this is where the scam really shows its face. According to unverified but wildly circulated industry leaks, the development budget for Scarlet and Violet was a measly 21.8 billion. Let's put that number into perspective. Those games sold over 25 million copies. generating well over $1 billion. This is a mind-boggling return on investment. Now let's compare that to a real AAA project. Grand Theft Auto 6 is rumored to have a total budget of $1 to $2 billion. That's money buying nearly a decade of development, revolutionary AI, and a world with unprecedented details. Well, I sure hope so anyway. Even GTA 5, which came out in 2013, had a combined development and a marketing budget of around $247 million. Games from 2015, like The Witcher 3, had budgets that blow Pokemon out of the water, and you can see it in every single frame. The technical state of Scarlet and Violet at launch was a global embarrassment. Here was a game from the world's richest franchise, running at slideshow frame rates, with characters popping in and out of existence, and a laundry list of game-breaking bugs. The world felt empty, the animations were stiff, and the whole thing just screamed rushed. This isn't about ability, it's a deliberate business decision. The Pokémon Company knows it doesn't need to spend more. Why invest $200 million when you can spend $22 million and still sell 25 million copies? You, the loyal fan, are the one paying a premium price for their cost cutting. You're paying for a AAA priced game delivered on an indie budget. That low investment in games is subsidized by you in other ways too. The Pokémon Company has mastered the art of charging premium prices fueled entirely by nostalgia. Pokémon games hit the shelves at a full $60 or $70 and almost never ever go on sale. They live inside Nintendo's walled garden, where games from a decade ago are still sold at near full price. A strategy that would get laughed at out of the room on any other platform. But the real wallet draining happens with the merch. Then the company drops a Lego collaboration, which sounds awesome on paper until you see the prices. An Eevee set around $60. That doesn't sound too bad for Lego, but it gets worse. There's a $200 set for a questionable looking Pikachu build, and a massive set featuring Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise for a staggering $650. Even though they haven't been released yet, you know these will sell out instantly. Limited edition trading cards create a frantic secondary market where scalpers have a feast and actual fans are left with nothing. This manufactured scarcity and premium branding creates a constant, churning cycle of desire and consumption. The game just serves as a delivery system for the next must-have creature. Think about it. The development budget for Pokémon Legends Arceus was reportedly just $14.4 million. That game was a breath of fresh air, a hint of what this series could be if it were allowed to innovate. But instead of building on that success, they went right back to the tired, cheap formula for Scarlet and Violet. This message was crystal clear. Innovation is risky and expensive. The old way is cheap and guarantees billions. That brings us right back to Palworld, when a small indie studio released a game that actually evolved the monster-catching idea. The Pokémon Company didn't respond by making a better, more innovative game of their own. No, they responded with lawyers. In September 2024, they filed a lawsuit against the developer, Pokepair, not for copying character designs, but infringing on game-related mechanics. Here's the most upsetting part. The lawsuit centers on three main factors, which, while based on older applications from 2021, were specifically filed and approved in 2024 after Palworld had already launched and became a viral sensation. They saw a competitor do something new, and instead of competing in the marketplace, they tried to weaponize their patent portfolios to sue them out of this space. While the monetary damages sought were small, the real goal appears to be stifling competitions. It's a clear message to any other developer out there to not innovate here. We own this playground, and we'd rather sue you than compete with you. So this is the state of Pokemon in 2026. That's grown, lazy, content to churn at a minimum effort products because it's known that the brand alone guarantees sales. It's a company that sees innovations not as a challenge to do better, but as a legal threat to be neutralized. The spirit of gotta catch them all is gone. Replaced by the cool logic of quarterly earnings reports, the franchise that taught us about adventure is now just interested in capturing every last dollar from your wallet, while giving us as little as possible in return. The slightly lower than expected opening week sales for Pokémon Legends Z-A compared to its direct predecessor might be the first small sign that fans are growing tired, but it's not enough. We, the community, have the power to demand something better. Is this business model sustainable, or is the Pokemon bubble inflated with low effort and high prices finally about to burst? If you're as frustrated by this as I am, let me know in the comments. What do you think it would take for the Pokemon Company to finally change? What would a Pokemon game that's actually worthy of its legacy look like to you? And if you want to see more deep dives in the gaming industry, worst habits, make sure to subscribe. It's time we held them giants accountable.